What remedies did they apply? Why did they become millionaires 4 or 5 years down the line? What do I have to learn as a founder to become a millionaire?
You compete with accelerators, you compete with very crowded educational market.
But we're changing the game there because obviously we're only 15 months in, but already we've turned the mindset of over 400 founders just in the United Kingdom.
The problem that your startups not there, your founders not there. So one of the things that will differentiate you is the system, to build a system.
Re-educating the way we build businesses, re-educating how we see high-performing founders. This is what we're trying to do here, right? It's not about a question of how do we make money. We are bloody going to be making money when we're supporting and creating 100,000 startups by 2034.
Hi there. Today we have very interesting guest, Sophie Azam. She is a founder on a mission to help more than 100,000 startups to enhance their performance and their skills, founder skills, by 2034. She created a very valuable company, startup by itself, called Skills for Startups. So please meet Sophie Azam. Hello, Sophie. I'm so happy to host you on my podcast. As you know, this is not podcast as usual. This is new channel called Unicorn Breakdown. So I would like to argue with you about your business if it needs to enhance your understanding of your business. And I would love if you will share with me and my audience how you're going to reach such an incredible goal. So, but I would love to ask you to start from your life. What is your aha moment that brought you to understanding of your mission? Please meet
Thank you.
Sophie.
Thank you so much, Leanne. And thank you very much to your audience for listening. So I'm Sophie Azam and I'm the founder of Skills for Startups. And primarily, one of the reasons why I have built a business using the power of education is because I believe that founders today and the future will require key skills, key pieces of education and knowledge in order to launch their ideas, build their businesses, and scale their businesses so that they have a fighting chance of becoming a successful business, given that there is a 90% failure rate of startups in the United Kingdom, a 98% failure rate in the United States of America, and on average, about 85% of startups fail globally. So there is a dire need to understand what those tricks in the trade are, what elements we need to be having as a tool before we put our money on the line, before we embark on this very challenging journey that startup founders go on before they become what you would call in the safe zone where revenue is consistent and persistent. And I think it's very important that that your audience understands that there is a lack of understanding around practical solutions to problematic challenges for startups. And we believe that what we have created through this company with the background I have in education regulation, it is now supporting around 400 founders in the UK. And we believe that the 13 skills that we've put together around how you communicate, how you put in an advisory board to support you as you go through your journey, how you invest in your commercial acumen, your business acumen, your understanding of how you acquire consumers and clients. I think this isn't a given. This is something that you have to invest in to understand, because you will have the brightest idea, but if you don't have the skills to execute that idea, you will very quickly run out of money, and you'll very quickly fall into that failure rate. So why I believe Skills for Startups is very important. I think it's a very unique business model. It's Britain's very first mobile business school that travels around the UK and globally and brings founders under one roof. So we put on days of empowerment utilizing the events model, and we get all these founders under one roof, and we actually do not utilize teachers and trainers to deliver our program, our skill-centered program. We actually utilize industry leaders that have already launched ideas. They've already built businesses. They may be on their third business or fourth business. So you want to hear from people that have already gone through that problematic journey, and what remedies did they apply? Why did they become millionaires 4 or 5 years down the line? What do I have to learn as a founder to become a millionaire? So that's what Skills for Startups is showcasing to the future of founders and the future of leadership. That's why it's very important as a business that there is an alternative learning platform here, alternative business school, that doesn't just look at theory, but actually looks at what are the practical nuggets of wisdom that we can apply as a winning formula for founders moving forward.
Founders are going to accelerators today, yeah, and they learn practical tools from mentors there. And usually, mentors are people with very, very good experience in startups. So actually, you compete with accelerators. You compete with very crowded educational market. And the key problem, what I see today, is that actually founders, they don't like to learn a lot except something that gives them something to do it by themselves. For example, they like to learn AI, how to use it for fundraising, how to use it for sales. They go to these courses. But then you come to them and say, guys, I'm gonna teach you soft skills about how to grow your company or how to make fundraising in a conventional way. It doesn't work. They don't want. And what I like in your approach is that you move to different towns, and you create some conference, local conference. So local people bring local founders, uh, local investors. So it should be some system so that allows to multiply through whole globally. What is the system actually, your educational system that will attract founders and investors to your conference that really compete with many local meetups and other conferences they have?
Yeah, I think understanding competitive analysis is very important, and you'll be surprised how many founders who have never had any form of education, have never embarked on that.
Every day, I meet it every day. They don't want even to hire a mentor. They come, they don't understand how to pitch. They try, they fail. Usually, I ask founders, how much did you invest in building your product?
Yeah.
Okay, $2 million. Why didn't you invest $10,000 to educate yourself about how to talk to investor, how to make fundraising, how to prepare documentation?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have answer. They just think it should be by themselves. I go with my charisma, I go to investor raise. It doesn't happen. and they lose and they fail.
Yeah. Well, we're changing the game there because obviously we're only 15 months in, but already we've turned the mindset of over 400 founders just in the United Kingdom. So the reason why we're out in America now is that San Diego came knocking on our doors to say, well, actually, we were out there looking at secret NARC events like those, and they were very dynamic and inspirational for founders to look up to these very success stories, right? So we weren't planning to come to America. We were going to wait a few years and master our program across the UK. There's huge problems up in North with the lack of funding. The London seems to be the hotspot for a lot of the investment in accelerator programs are in central London. Many startups go to central London. So a lot of the local economies up north and around London are not prosperous. There's that sort of discrimination between the north and the south. So when America came knocking on our doors to say, well, actually, we've heard about skills for startups. We know it's an alternative educational platform. It's not, you're not doing the theory, nothing like MBS, and it's fast track. We're very fast track. We evaluate companies, we find where the problem is. The problem could be a very rubbish sales strategy, a very rubbish understanding of how they're going to sell their products. There could be geniuses that have designed some of the most lucrative apps, right? But know nothing about selling that. So we know what we're doing, right? When we're bringing them together, when we're putting on these shows, we know where the pressure points are because they've purchased a ticket to come to our show because they want to learn from the best, and they themselves understand that if they don't invest in where the problems lie in their startup, they're not going to go anywhere, and they're not going to meet their KPIs or the goals of having 3,000 customers by 2028. There is a step that you've got to go through, and very strategic steps that you've got to go through in order to be a successful business. We know there's a problem past 5 years. Only 38% of businesses survive after 5 years. That is a statistic that we cannot accept here at Skills for Startups. So the message I want to send out to your founders and your audience is that you might not even know what the problems you have or the gaps you have.
You almost don't know, right?
You don't know what you don't know, right? So what's happening right now is that our research and data states that one of the key reasons why there's a huge failure rate is because we rush into spending money. We rush into launching ideas without understanding the market fit. We don't understand the investor's language. We don't understand. We believe that our idea is the most precious idea and that investors need to cut a check. That's not how it works, right? You've got to have a financially viable business from day one. And what we're teaching you at our shows, including San Diego, is how you can become financially viable from the minute you start your startup journey. Because investors want to know what did you do to make yourself highly commercial? How did you come about turning yourself into a lucrative business leader in your sector, in your specialism? Well, you can say, well, actually, you joined partners with Skills for Startups, and it taught you how to do your forecasting, how to do your financial modeling. Believe it or not everybody understands a business strategy. Not everybody understands how to forecast. Investors need to know that their money is safe. And we want we work with investors as well. We want investors to know that when we bring startups to your attention, these people are ready. These people are ready to take on other people's money to scale and grow their businesses. And that's why it's so important that we invest in our education.
Yeah, and here is a question. So in general, that's exactly what we have to do. When I was entrepreneur, I went through 4 accelerators, and I was learning this stuff there. And actually, it helped me a lot with connections and to build my companies. And here the question: how are you gonna monetize it, and why people should pay for participation in your conference or not pay? I don't know. Let's talk about monetization. How are you gonna monetize it?
So how we are monetizing skills for startups is through advanced business sponsorships and endorsements. So we've already worked with Google back in Central London, and we designed a program where we utilized AI skills with business acumen. So we had a lot of founders that didn't understand how AI skills could actually generate income for that startup without spending a huge amount of money building a staffing structure. How AI could be your consumer service, your business advisor, how it can actually speed up the success story of your startup if used cleverly. So we already worked with Google on a program where we showcased different types of AI systems that could actually take over elements of your business between 0 to 2 years, which is the critical point of where you need to survive. And you can't afford to overspend, right? Because if you overspend, then you're going to start to go into that red zone and then you're not going to survive. So if you don't have any backing, if you don't have backing from your friends and family or any type of angel investor, AI is now your savior because AI could now be your business partner and it can support your startup business model. And that's what we did with Google last year. So we brought in Google and Google's strategy around how they support your, in the building of your systems, perhaps, or even how you yourself can pick up skills where you utilize other people's very cost effective systems to set your vision, your mission, your KPIs, right down to your operational strategy, how you're going to deliver, how you're going to pursue your clients, how are you going to analyze your competition. All of this now can be run through a system, and we are going to be launching a brand new system in San Diego that actually does A to Z of building a business from a grassroots level. So that's going to be very exciting that this company has utilized Skills for Startups to launch this system, because this is the very idea. This is the exact idea we were talking to Google about last year when we did the.
So actually, Google give you sponsorship, or Google is your design partner for your courses or for your conferences?
Google was our sponsor last year. They sponsored the cost of the show, and we had the ability to bring in 150 startups under one roof. It was their brand new Google Hub that was launched in central London, and they wanted to launch it with Skills for Startups. And we brought in 150 startups, somewhat AI founders that required soft skills and business skills. Others were coming along to learn more about AI skills. So it was a synergy there between us and Google, and it worked really well. Those 150 startups, about 20% of them went on to secure around $25,000 worth of Google credits, so they could actually progress with their startup idea. And the systems that they looking to sell. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was amazing.
Yeah. Sophie, sponsorship is not a viable business model. So how are you going to make money beyond sponsorship to survive and to build your company? I know a lot of educational companies, math everywhere, having $1 billion valuation, and they have $100 million in revenue. How are you going to build your business, not a non-profit business?
Yeah. So essentially, our business is commercial, and we have conducted an analysis on similar sort of educational companies that offer some degree of consultancy with where they go into businesses and they supply expert advice on building those businesses. And then there was another analysis we did where we just looked at pure events, and there were many events out there that were purely just driven by a volume of networking, and they were turning around into sort of $1 million sort of concepts. So we've merged the two with Skills for Starters. We've brought in the power of education and sort of the education side of advisory. When we have a 6-week program, basically, that has been running for 14 months in the UK, and it's valued at probably about $1.3 million moving forward after 2027. After we've started to sophisticate and bring in the number of startups requiring that sort of 6 week hands-on sort of support as they launch their ideas. And then we have the 8 shows that we're bringing to the globe, and predominantly the United States of America as well. That is valued at probably about 2.4 million US dollars after 2027 onwards. So it is a very clever, unique business model. You're right. You have to make money, and it's not just about giving back, and it's not just about the passion we have to grow businesses, but we have a model there of, if you can't pay for our 6 week specialist program, we will train you up in 6 weeks, but we will take 4 to 5% equity of your company moving forward. So at the moment, we have 4% equity in about 3 different businesses. And we've also are a seed investor as Skills for Startups for 2 women-led businesses. So we've already started to gain long-term revenue for ourselves moving forward. So those are the 3 main areas we look at. So it's the program that we're selling to startup founders to work at their own pace with us. But after 6 weeks, they then proceed and they launch their businesses quite safely or risk-free. There are the shows that the startups come to, all our founders.
So it's the early stage founders, and they don't have money, they don't have anything, and you start to help them. They get equity in exchange. It's a very, very difficult business, because much easier to deal with startups, seed A, even B, because they have money, and even more. What I learned from startups I help with and we're invested in, that
Yeah.
early stage founders, they don't understand, they're not aware at all about learning something. They reject, so their behavior like teenager behavior. I don't want anything, I know everything, I just try, that's all. And when they come to round A, they start to understand, and B, C, and even bigger. So I know that every billionaire founder has at least 3 coaches, 3 mentors. So they understand that they have to talk to somebody. They have to learn from some experience. But the problem that your startups not there, your founders not there. So one of the things that will differentiate you is a system, to build a system that creates awareness and I call it activation.
Yeah.
There are 4 levels of activation. To activate these founders, and then to maybe to charge them from upcoming round or something like this. So to find business model that is really viable. Sponsorship is not viable at all. So you should build a company, sell your courses, and create awareness around it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're not, I think sponsorships are very important in progressing with our shows, and that has been proven in the UK that
Yeah, from the beginning, that's okay. I also started my company using grants. It's very similar,
exactly.
but it's not viable.
Yeah, it's yes, we're not saying that's, well, we know events achieve $1 million sponsorship deals 3 to 10 years down the line. So we know that many events out there that are trademark events, which people know about the brand and the impact it makes within the business communities. And I can think of many that are quite high profile in London, like the Excel, which happens every year in London for a week. It's a multi-million pound company now. So we know that, and the reason why they do what they do for their ticket structure, etc., is because they bring in some of the most high profile banks are their sponsors. So some of the high profile corporations are their sponsors, and their sponsorships goes from £250,000 right down to, £3,000 to £5,000 for those who are smaller businesses who want to associate with that show and elevate their brand. We know that sponsorships are an amazing way to generate huge, fast income for these types of companies. But of course, we're an alternative business school, and naturally, we attracted sponsors 14 months into our pilot. We naturally had sponsors coming through because they wanted to work with startups. And they thought the best way for them to tap into selling their services to startups, whether it's insurance or systems or whatever, was to sponsor skills for startups. So, the fact that we were fresh and when we started, it started a revolution. So the point I'm trying to make here is, whereas I agree with you that you can't have, um, you know, sponsorship as the only sort of commercial model, we haven't discussed exactly what we're doing, and what we're doing is that we have 4 or 5 different revenue streams to Skills for Startups. It's not just a roadshow that's being hit all over the world, but it could bring a lot of income for us if we did just focus on those roadshows. But yes, we have a service where we articulate a 6-week program where we go in and actually forge partnerships with these startup founders, and we enter their business, and we sit in on their commercial meetings, and we secure them mega revenue, and we're starting to do that now with the companies that we've got a stake in. So I think it's very important to understand that where I come from is probably slightly different from where the average venture capitalist or average person who is in this space advising founders is. That the type of founders I advise are current founders that are slightly disruptors. They're disruptors in their specialism, and we are disruptors in the startup space. We don't want to do things like the old way you do things. Does that make sense? Something that, who tells you that you've got to write a pitch deck a certain way, right? When we know that there are investors out there that are just as crazy as I am about taking risks and investing in early stage startups. We have spoken to 5 or 6 investors now who are now uh, who don't care about the risk and will invest in early ideas. They will invest in early inception startups, which VCs say are high risk. Now we are educating a nation not just on the quality of startups that are coming through, the ideas of services coming through. We are educating investors to say it's okay to invest in early stage startups that have a mega disruptive idea that's going to make waves. And that's what Skills for Startups is. It's a massive wave of re-educating the way we build businesses, re-educating how we see high-performing founders. This is what we're trying to do here, right? It's not about a question of how do we make money. We are bloody going to be making money when we're supporting and creating 100,000 startups by 2034, which puts us on $1 billion evaluation in 10 years' time. This has happened so fast in 14 months. We haven't broken even. We made a profit in the UK in the first year, right? We weren't planning that. You make losses in the events industry, but we made a bloody profit. Why? Because we had University College Birmingham partnering up with us. We had University College London. We had Google. We now have Barclays. We have Barclays now saying that they want to work with us. They work with startups. So this is how we capitalize on partnerships, which actually reduces any cost for us. So whatever we price, whatever sponsorship we bring in, it's pure profit for us.
Okay, how many people working with you today in your company?
We have at this precise moment in time, we probably have about 3 freelancers and about 8 advisors.
Oh, very nice. Who is doing courses, develop courses? So you have advisors. So who is responsible for developing all these courses?
So essentially, it's myself, and there's like 3 other people that we capitalize on at every um, global roadshow program we design. And they tend to look at customer loyalty, which is very big, sales strategy, business modeling, and financial modeling. The guy that does that is actually a visiting professor. So he's actually an academic that visits all over the world and works with business schools. And he applied to sit on our board, but he's ended up doing a lot of work with us. So he's phenomenal.
So tell me more about your upcoming breakthrough event in San Diego. How are you going? How are you building this? Whom you are talking to, and how are you going to monetize this event in San Diego?
In relation to San Diego,
Yeah.
yeah, so San Diego is probably one of the most ambitious, shall we say, programs we're about to deliver. We've already attracted $1.2 million worth of speakers pro bono, and we've already attracted a few sponsors that have covered the cost of the show for September 12th to 14th. And the tickets are value for money because the industry leaders we're utilizing, they cost thousands of dollars. So we've monetized it quite well in San Diego. For $499, you are gaining access to around 18 industry leaders on the Friday, and these people are really the movers and shakers of their business sectors and their business, and the connections that they are going to bring our delegates is absolutely amazing and mind blowing. It's a win-win situation for our delegates and for our industry leaders. And we are going to be capitalizing the afternoon of the show, launching 2 or 3 cost-effective systems that will help you to advance your business growth, advance your sales. We're going to target lead generation, which is very important for founders at this precise moment in time. And some of these systems, 2 of the systems that we're looking at the moment, are as good as probably ChatGPT and any sort of system that comes out of Google or Microsoft. These guys are movers and shakers in supporting smaller businesses, and what we're going to launch a robot called Sarah in the afternoon on the Saturday. And Sarah basically, she's designed to be your not just chat bar but your cold caller. She helps you to secure clients. It's an incredible show that we're putting on in San Diego, very AI driven, because today AI is rescuing startups, we believe. And we believe that having an understanding and an appetite in your business model for AI is going to put you in such a unique position as a founder. So we also have some incredible businesses who we're working with by utilizing public speaking skills, and the sort of skills that you use when you're doing this sort of podcast is a great way for you to sell your services and your products now. Once upon a time, we used to sell our products in markets, right? The old fashioned way, picking up the telephone, you sell your service, you sell your product. Now you can sell your service and products. And we did this with Google. We put on a live podcast show and a masterclass on how to build your brand through podcasts. And that's something we're bringing to San Diego now, where we're looking at how brand elevation could be the game changer for your business through avenues and channels like podcasts, selling yourself as a keynote speaker and talking about your service and your product is another game changer. Think about it. You could be in front of 1,000 audience, and 100 of those companies sitting in that audience don't know that they need your service until you open your mouth and you talk about your service and product. That's what we're showcasing in San Diego. It's a very unique program that is using our own creative juices and skills to find other means to help startups grow and make the money. It's all about making money now, and it's going to be all about making money for the next decade. And people want ethical money, they want humanity, they want compassion. That's what Skills for Starters is about. We are selling you a almost like a 12-centric skills program using our intelligence, our compassion, and we want to get you from $0 to, $2,000, $3,000, $10,000, $100,000 when you join our ecosystem and our startups nation. It's not always a fast track way, but sometimes our companies have gone really fast through revenue. So they've been very clever. They've picked up our skills and they've gone through the roof, right? Sometimes there are founders that need their hand holding and they have a step change every year. And that's what we love in our shows. What happens afterwards is what we see, what happens on a monthly basis after they've picked up our skills. But San Diego, come September 12 to 14, is all about getting more women in business, female entrepreneurship, juggling your business journeys with motherhood. We're bringing everything in, how technology can save you time so that you can have a better work-life balance and that you can have fast-track money generation coming through, because that's what these systems are going to do for us. But yes,
Sophie, when will it happen?
When it happen?
Yeah, right.
So we start Friday, September 12th, from 3:30 p.m., which will be icebreakers with some of our industry leaders, some powerful entrepreneurs that have huge success stories to share with you and your founders. And then we'll have afternoon business networking over cocktails where you get to meet the speakers before the show on Saturday, and you can start forging relationships and partnerships. It's all about when you come to our show, we expect you to secure business, right? It's not about you standing around doing nothing, right? If you're going to spend $499 to come to our shows, you're going to get a return on that $499. You bet your bottom dollar you will not be standing there. You will be speaking and you will be interacting and you'll be engaging and you will start to out there you will start to generate revenue.
How to find it? How to join your amazing conference?
So essentially, you can directly link with me through hello at skills number 4 startups.com. Visit our website www.skills number 4 startups.com/roadshows. That page will take you to all our tour dates. And the ones with the tickets on sale, just click on the ones on sale in San Diego. That takes you straight to our platform to purchase your tickets. We would like you to bring your co-founders, your business partners free of charge on that ticket so that you can come as a team and learn as a team and capitalize on each other's businesses, right? There's going to be other delegates and their businesses you might want to forge partnerships with. We have forged 100 plus partnerships in the last 8 weeks in Utah. So we spent 8 weeks in Utah and we had 100 plus partnership meetings. So if we can do it, so can you.
Wow, amazing. Sophie, thank you for coming to my podcast. And it was an amazing conversation. I can tell you, I have never seen such a huge energy and passion like you have. It excites.
Thank you, Leon.
And it really touches.
We don't stop.
Yeah, so we have to continue our conversation. Definitely, I would love to have another interview, another meeting after your San Diego conference, and I wish you a lot of success. So we have
Leon.
yeah we have met with Sophie Azam. Sophie Azam on a mission to help more than 100,000 startups and founders to create their business and to grow their business through education. And this mission goes to 2034. Thank you, Sophie, and thank you for coming to my podcast.